So we talked today about aquaculture as an emerging food group and what the trends were, what the current situation is, and also how that relates to soybeans or many of the other feed ingredients that we use as part of the aquaculture production equation. Well, aquaculture is growing. It's the fastest growing food production method in the world. We're still small, but it's very clear, I think, based on both historical data as well as the projected data, that aquaculture will emerge as the major producer for seafood in the world. We exceeded wild fisheries 2 years ago for the first time in history, and that trend is nothing but up from there. Well, the two key challenges that are facing aquaculture are issues around management of aquatic animal health, so diseases, and then also provision of enough feed for the sector, and that's where soybeans really come in. We are growing so fast that existing sources for fish meal and fish oil, which are what our traditional ingredients have been, are really fully utilized. And so we need to turn to other ingredients in our feed formulations in order to be able to fuel that expansion. And in fact, there's a consensus amongst aquaculture professionals that if we don't solve that feed ingredient demand issue, we won't grow as fast as we potentially could. Soy is one of a number of ingredients that are potentially used in aquatic feeds. But the great thing about soy, at least from our perspective as American farmers, is it's a domestically produced product. It's a product that we can trace back to its source. So when our customers ask about sustainability, about traceability, we can turn to the programs that the U.S. soybean farmers have and demonstrate to them that it's coming from a good source. The other great thing about soy is that it's an alternate ingredient. So we can still use some of our traditional ingredients, but supplement the feed formulation with soy ingredients, and that would allow us to expand faster than we are now. So one of the things that's happening in the seafood world is that our customers are asking for verification in terms of where our feed ingredients come from. And they're asking questions about food safety, they're asking questions about environmental sustainability, they're asking questions about traceability. Can we verify where our ingredients are coming from? The great thing about U.S. soybeans is we can answer all those questions. So as farmers, when our customers ask us those questions, we can turn to the soy producers and they will help us answer those questions in a very well documented fashion. I think that we are an emerging market for them, and that we need to have an ongoing discussion between my growers, my farmers, and the soybean producing folks about how soy fits into the feed formulations. We need to understand more about where soy can really help us, and part of the challenge, frankly, that U.S. soybean growers have is we don't know all the nutritional requirements for the animals we grow because we're so new. We're learning as we're going. And so I heard questions today about, what do you need for a nutritional profile? And I was very honest with them and said, sometimes we don't honestly know. We're still finding that out. But what that means is that U.S. soy growers and U.S. aquaculture producers have to have an ongoing discussion and learn from each other about where soy fits in the feed formulation. Well, so aquaculture at a commercial level has only been really conducted for about 100 years. Terrestrial agriculture on land, has been conducted for 8,000 years. So we have a lot to learn. The good news is because we as aquaculture farmers recognize that feeds are one of the constraints on our ability to expand, we're investing millions of dollars in nutritional research to try and find out what the nutritional needs are of the animals we're growing. One of the great areas that there's been a lot of cooperation, frankly, between the soy farmers and the fish farmers in the U.S. is cooperative nutritional studies, where we have used soy ingredients in test diets to try to find out whether they satisfy the nutritional requirements for the particular fish that we're growing. And the good news is there have been some great test results, and soy looks like it's going to be a great ingredient. The key takeaway, I think, for the buying community is that soy has a new market. And we will probably, over time, buy significant quantities of soy. And so as buyers, they have to be aware that there's a new kid on the block who's going to be buying soy. And, we're all going to be in the same market bidding on soy as a feed ingredient.